up, guys? I'm Jason. This is the Freebird Garage, and we are on part one. Well, kind of two, because the first one was the introduction of the project FXRT dubbed the Vader. For now, maybe that will change at the end. But today we're going to dive into exactly what this bike has on it and kind of get some things cleaned up, go through it a bit. Mainly going to find where the leaks are at today. I know that the base gaskets, I believe, have a leak. There's a leak coming from the petcock. Got to get that fixed. But just kind of get an overall grocery list of what we need to get done on this to start getting it torn down. I want to dive right into the motor, but I know there's other parts that I just want to kind of get my head wrapped around before we do that. So let's dive in. Let's get it started and see what it does. Take it from there. We're going to clean up the motor with some brake clean. Let's kind of get it wiped down. It's a blonde of what they consider this style color of this motor. I'm not worried about the tarnish of it coming off. So the penetration of it, if you use this on like your black wrinkle coated, you definitely have a chance of wearing out that blackness of the coating that it comes out with. So pre-warned if you use brake clean, a lot of it. But we're gonna do that now. I definitely know that there is some leaking. Just need to see how severe it is and see if this is something that we can attack either right now or if we can get to the other parts first. That's what we're gonna do. That should be a good start. See where we're at from there. Now, already looking at the casting on the block here with the VIN that's on here, it is stamped EC, which is pretty cool. That means that this is obviously an FXRT. EC is how they identify through like any of the parts catalogs. Just they'll state it too if someone's selling an FXRT, to be exact, they'll say it's an EC in the VIN. That means that it's true to an RT, and right there is proof that the motor is matching. I'll show you guys here. There we go, now you guys can see it. So there are the castings, looking good there. And to match right there, EC. So numbers matching, pretty cool. Something small, but I like knowing that both are matching to know this is truly the original motor with the frame. All right, so let's see if we get this thing started and see what it does. Okay, there we are in neutral, gas on. I can already tell it's gonna start leaking out pretty good. This petcock is completely shot here. Gas. Doesn't want to stay running, which is not shocking here. Definitely feels strong though, like it doesn't have any problem getting on the gas, but it feels like it's definitely a fuel issue, not getting into the carb correctly, so gotta go through the carb. That is the only leak happening right now, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I thought that was gonna be way worse. Don't see anything else coming up here. So far so good on here. Little seepage, but that looks pretty normal. Not too worried about that. That being the only leak so far, I'm gonna see if I can run this again one more time to get it just to stay running, and then see if I can get it to appear, because that's the only one that's first coming off. So let's try it one more time and see what we got. All right, so good and bad. One, the good side, it's only leaking from that one corner. The way that this motor was brought to my attention was that it was leaking everywhere on the base gaskets. But I don't see that. I don't know if that was just under assumption because of the previous owner telling Evan that it was, leaking everywhere. He didn't dive enough into it because there's gonna be money involved into it, but to know that, that's a good sign. I still believe it's a fuel issue coming down from the petcock, not allowing the proper fuel to be able to be dropped down. That one is a gravity fed one, so if it's on, it's pouring down. If it's off, I mean, that's the only way to shut off, so it doesn't have any way to a check valve to be able to make sure that when it has a vacuum to turn on, it's on. You're gonna tear apart the carb, or at least like to get the bike to idle. And then from there, kind of either roll back into some of the other parts, and then come back to the motor, decide from there, but at least get this open up, let's check out the carb, see where we're at. All right, right when I was filming that, I noticed, there it is. There's our fuel issue. It's just pouring out right now of the overflow tube on the carb. So the float could be completely stuck on this carb, causing that problem, not allowing it to idle. So yeah, you see it's dripping down like that. So that's definitely the sign probably why it's not idling right now. So like I said, we're gonna tear this apart and see what's inside. This still has the original air filter box and everything on here, so I'm curious to what we're gonna find. Hopefully nothing too bad, I don't think so. I mean, this carb really needs to be replaced. I mean, they work. It's like a butterfly style carb, and moving up to just a regular old CV carb can do this bike huge night and day difference. So keep it inside here. Nice floorboards here too. I don't know if here, you guys see this? Look at this. Bam! Just stores all your parts, everything there. You don't have to keep punching down. Anyways, all right. So let's pull this apart. All right, air filter there. Looks pretty clean. Plugs. Just a nice little touch. Covers up. Screw is actually still look in really nice condition. Just gotta pop those off now. All right, loosened up the throttle body up there. Be able to get our cables off, or the throttle here. Pull these out. Freed up there. Loosen up there. Yeah, we are almost free on here. Gasket's completely shot up here. That's toast. That's not a big deal. That's just for the backing of the air cleaner there. This off here. All right. Whew. Oh boy. Will not stop dripping when the petcock's off. So definitely pointing towards that. And the carb needs to be gone through. So I'm gonna pinch this gas line and get that to stop. The rest of that vacuum line's off there. We got our throttle cables off there. And we got this choke device. Very interesting. It's definitely I'm gonna call it old school. I don't know if that's really considered old school or not, but the choke wire cable piece here. So loosen this up. Loosen up the choke on the other side. We're gonna see if we can just get this bracket off, and the carb should be free. Just a little bracket right there that holds the choke. I'm just gonna work it off from the couplings. It should be good. There we go. Bam! Freed up. Let's get this thing on the bench. All right, we're gonna get into this now. Move the manifold. Doesn't want to break apart. All right, leave that there for now. Gasket still looks good. Everything else, never taken one of these apart before, but the principle should all be the same. We're gonna go from the bottom here, move the bowl. Oh, perfect. And all of those bolts and screws are all mushed up. That's wonderful. Okay, try a different way here. Doesn't want to move. A little trick I learned when these things get worn out. Let's grab a channel locks here. Should be able to grab it. Yep, there we go. This is definitely not a how-to. Plug here. Gasket looking pretty good there. Okay. Alright, got to remove the set screw there. That should release our float. And this float, oddly enough, is set up very close and similar to how like a S&S carb almost reminds me of. First jet removed, looking pretty good. It's the bigger one, usually they're not that clogged, but looks to be a 170. And I need the service manual, which I'm still waiting on, to tell me what the stock jet sizing is. Proper screwdriver, modified specifically for jets. Ever get into carbs, take them apart, definitely suggest making one. It's like flat on the tip there. That looks like an itty bitty jet there. Pretty much bigger than the ones I got on mine. That's okay. Okay, we're good there. Get the float off. Here we are. Set that off to the side. Yeah, there's no idle air, which is what I was kind of looking for to hopefully adjust. But there's just 2 jets. You can remove all this stuff, but I'm just gonna use the basket cleaner. It's just simpler just to do that than to try to remove everything from there. So everything else looks decent, nothing damaged. Inside of here looks pretty good, but it'll just be good for a good bath on there. So we got that. Now this jet right here, the pilot or idle jet, that's at a, man, looks to be, this is 60. Pull up the light, see if we got any light going through. Light's going through. So jets are actually clean. That's good. And the float, there's no cracks. That can be a thing too. If there's any cracks in here, it'll cause our floating issues there. Doesn't look to be any problem. So throw this in the basket. All right, forgot to go over to the other diaphragm there. Accelerator pump to be exact. Let's see here, back side. Pull this off, and that's good too. No cracks. Still feels really firm, which is nice. Usually it can crack down the side of the seams there, but looks good. Inside as well. All right, my go-to for every carb. Love this stuff. Get your money's worth. Get there. Load up our basket. And it goes. So that there. I'll just clean this up with some brake clean after. So good there. Let that sit overnight, or if not longer. Make sure all that crud comes off. All right, so the carb is obviously soaking. We're gonna let that go for a couple days, week, whatever. Get that all cleaned up, looking brand new again. Once that's cleaned up, put it back together, get it on the bike, and then get a new petcock ordered. Got to remove the tank, of course, and put that back on. Kind of get a peek now what the wiring looks like underneath. Hopefully don't find a bunch of buttoned up fucking wires put together, which can cause a short down the road. I want to make sure this thing is sound when it is all put back together. Now, which way we're gonna go after that? Because I could either come back with a new carb, that's one of them, S&S, Mikuni, CV carb, performance style. I'm very interested in those. If I can find the right deal, I'm gonna do that prior to installing this one, but I may just do this just to figure out where the bike stands. I want it to run on its own to see how this motor is. If there's only a small leak, to kind of then figure out which way we wanna do for performance. It's definitely gonna be Evo. I love the block that's on here. I love that it matches the VIN. Just something in my gut just tells me to stick with that. So I'm definitely gonna roll with that. We have a wire mess up here. This has been converted to like essentially, like an FXRS from the RT. It has the speedometer, but no tach, which is supposed to be too with the fairing, which unfortunately they chopped off and left them with just the speedo. And that's cool and all, but I want to get back to what this originally had. So still tracking down some parts for the fairing. We'll hopefully come across. And then on coming back to the rear end here, checking the brakes, and also figuring out our suspension deal, because I'm already looking back here and they have like chopped up the fucking area back here on the bag mounts for these shitty progressive shocks that are back here. Progressive is one thing, but like it just looks like a hack job. So we're gonna get that cleaned up. That's the kind of the area we're going, but I wanna start off with this. This is like the heart of it, and then bridge which way. So, all right guys, that about wraps for me in this one. I would greatly appreciate if you could hit the subscribe button, tap that like, press the notification, leave a comment below and tell me what you think. And for those who are subscribed, thank you, and as always, stay free. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.